Welcome back. I am your host. I am attorney Stephen Leahy. And this is the IRS Radio Hour, where we are joined every week by the gang, the group. The group. Deborah Schreiner and Jim Leahy.
Hey, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, every Sunday at 5, you can hear the IRS Radio Hour because that's what time it is. Also, if you have your receipt from last year's taxes, your tax return, make sure you bring it into open tax resolution because you're going to get a half off. Why not save some money?
And get a good
Everybody
tax
loves
preparer.
doing that.
That's right.
All right? So get it done professionally. Bring it to open tax resolution. They'll do it half off last year's price. 312-664-6649 or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to help fight the IRS. Now, without further ado, it's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
I'm jamming over here, Jim.
That's
I like
good.
it. I like it.
I like it when you jam.
I like it a lot. So this week on my blog segment, I am. Is that how you say it, Jim?
That's right.
Blog. I'm going to talk about tax liens. Why?
Lean on me.
That's
when
good.
you're not
I can get down with this, too.
You can get down with this too. That's right. But don't lean on the IRS. They will lean on you. That's what they do. They lien you first. But I'm going to talk about it because a lot of people don't get confused about it. First off, let's distinguish between a lien and a levy. A lien is when the IRS says that everything you own is theirs. A levy is when they take it from you. Okay, so there's a big difference.
So like repossession.
It's not a repossession because repossession
Means
kind of
that
implies that they had it to begin with.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but that's the way the government sees it, right?
Well, that's right.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Everything is theirs
That's a
anyway.
whole nother conversation.
I agree with that, though. That's they do view it that way, and all your money
We
is
let you
theirs.
have this
And that's all the
business.
IRS doesn't collect taxes from you. All they do is they determine what you can keep, and that's kind of true.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It is kind of true. I hope our guy Trump, which is what we're going to talk about in the next segment, does change the tax code and allow people to save more, keep more of their money. I think that's important. My own opinion, I'm a big tax cut guy. I think that we give the good. Oh, I'm thinking about my friend Joe Walsh, who has the government takes too much as it is. They're too big, and it's true. That's what we
It
should.
is true.
You know,
And
so,
then you take a look at
and
what
there's
they're
nothing
doing.
wrong with trying to
And
save
they're
money
talking
on your
about cutting
taxes.
25% of the EPA, and then they go, well, but
I know.
you know, in Illinois, how's it going to get affected? Well, we can't clean the waters or do any of this. I'm sure you could. You just find another way to cut the money.
I don't know if you know this, but the Illinois state has their own EPA. So you know, it's duplicate, it's triplicate,
Those are
it's
important,
quadruplicate.
but that's important. That's what the government does. That's what these.
I agree.
They cut the important stuff to make it not work for you.
Okay, so here's another thing that people don't understand about liens. Okay, so difference: tax liens, tax levies, different. A tax lien actually attaches automatically. They don't have to do anything. So, I don't have a lien against me because the government hasn't filed anything. They don't have to file anything. Three things have to occur before there's a tax lien against you. First, the IRS must properly assess a liability. So once they say that you owe them money, that's the first part. The second part is, now it might be that you don't really owe them money, but if they say you do, that's enough. They've assessed it against you. The IRS must send the taxpayer timely notice and demand for payment. So after they assess the tax, they're going to send you a notice, say, hey, you owe us some money, pay it. And then you don't pay it. Now a tax lien is attached automatically. You don't have to do anything else. But there's two different types of liens. There's what they call a secret lien, and that's when because as I just mentioned, they don't have to do anything else, and a lien is attached to you. So they didn't even file anything with the county yet. And that's when it becomes disclosed, is when they go to the county and they file what they call a federal tax lien. A federal notice of tax lien is called, a federal notice of tax lien. And then it's in the county, and that's really what the purpose of that lien is to put everybody on notice that there is a lien against you. Okay, and then so for instance, if I borrowed some money on my house and the IRS already had a tax lien against me, and then I borrow money and someone gives me money, the IRS is in front of them. They get my house before the people that loaned me the money. They were there first in time, first in right. That's kind of a axiom in lien parlance. Okay, the title when it comes to title of your home.
Gazoon type.
It's true.
Whoa.
Okay, so anyway, that's the first thing that the lien they file it. Now these are the two questions I got this week. The one question a gentleman came to me, said, he has tax liens against him. They've been filed with the county, and he owns a car probably worth about $15,000. He needs money to pay his taxes for this year, last year, 2016. They're coming due April in 2017. He needs the money. He said, well, the tax lien, can I sell my car? And, because another thing that people don't understand about tax liens is it attaches everything I own, everything that I will own, everything I did own. So it's all encompassing. It's everything. However, if I have a car and I hold the title and I go to say CarMax and sell my car and I give them the title and they give me money, can the IRS come and take the car back from CarMax? The answer is no. Unless I tell them, hey, I got this tax lien. If I tell them I have a tax lien, then they know there's a tax lien. Then it's enforceable against them. But because they don't know, when I sell it, then it's a good faith buyer. A good faith buyer is going to be protected. And the reason why that is otherwise you could never buy something from somebody and be sure that it's yours. Right,
yeah.
Because I buy a car from some guy, and I say, 2 years later, the IRS knocks out, hey, that's ours. We had a lien against the guy. I had no way of knowing. I guess I did. I could have gone and looked it up, like a title for homes, for instance. You have to go look it up, and before you transfer the title to a house, they got to see if there's a tax lien because they have first right to that house if they were there first. So that was a big question. Now the second one had to do with a trust. So somebody had a property in trust. So in Illinois, we call it a property trust, where you take your property and you put it into a trust's name. And the trust then owns the property. You are the beneficiary of the trust. So you don't own real estate. And I don't know if people understand this. But when you put property in a property trust in Illinois, you're not the owner anymore. The trust is the owner. I just own the beneficiary interest. And that in Illinois, that's considered a personal property and not real estate. So kind of goes like with what I was just talking about with the car. Now, if I sold the car and I take the car and I put it in my bank account, well, the IRS can come take my bank account. They can attach my bank account and take it from me.
Good, I don't have much in there anyway.
Then it doesn't really matter. And then we could talk about what that is. That's a levy. Now that's different. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. Maybe I'll make a note of that.
So if
we'll talk about the blog next week about levies and how they work.
So if the IRS comes and takes my bank account and then it gets overdrawn because of an automatic payment, does that mean the IRS pays my audit?
No, it doesn't mean that. Of course, you're stuck with it, right? Everything, it's all your fault.
Well, I can't pay it.
I understand, and that's part of the problem. But anyway, so let's talk about. I'm going to finish my thought about the house because if the property's in a trust, well, when they're going to sell the property, they're going to check. They're not going to check the beneficiary interest who has a tax lien. They're going to see, does the trust have a tax lien? And if the trust doesn't have a tax lien, then they can transfer the property to the next person. Very much like the car that we just talked about. Because how are they supposed to know? It's not on their name. Now, the person who gets the money, the owner, now they're the beneficiary interest of that sale. Now that money can be attached by the IRS too. Now, that doesn't really stop them from spending it either. Because you get the money, you spend it, right? If the IRS hasn't taken it from me yet. Although, technically, they still own it. And there's a very good example. So if I go to a store and they have a tax lien against them and I buy something from the store, could the IRS come in and take my stuff back? Hey, they have a tax lien. That's ours. It attaches to it, but you buy it in good faith and you're free from the person who buys it is free of that lien. So anyway, it's complicated, but these are important questions.
Well, this is complicated stuff. Thank God we have ChicagoTaxTeam.com. That's going to be your hub to help fight the IRS. We can look up the blog report on there. We can look up prior shows, and we can look up a way to contact you. And here's another way to contact you. Open Tax Resolution 312-664-6649. And again, visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because after the commercial break, we have more IRS Radio Hour coming your way. So stay tuned here on AM 560, The Answer.